everybody, Rob here, and it's time for another 5-minute member talk. Today we're here with Russ Weeks from the Weeks family of funeral homes. Hi Russ, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So Russ, let's jump right into it. You are part of, now you're president, is that right? President of the Weeks family of funeral homes.
Correct. Yep,
What?
that's my technical title. I'm also the CFO, Chief Fill-In Officer.
I like it. Who is Weeks family? Who's the Weeks family of funeral homes? You've got a number of locations all over the Pacific Northwest. Tell me about them.
Right. The Weeks family is, we're large and include our spouses, but those that are active in funeral service or have been are my dad, Dwayne, who grew up with the Dryer Mortuary in 1950s, and then after a short trip as a teacher, came back to funeral service. He's been retired out of the day-to-day operations since the mid-'80s, and my brother Doug and I are the active owners now. And my brother's a CPA, does the financing, bookkeeping. I'm the funeral side of things, more on operations. And our funeral homes are from Columbia Funeral Home in Seattle, down going across Vashon on Vashon Island, and then Haven of Rest in Gig Harbor, and down this side, Kent, Enum, Cloud, Buckley, Tacoma, and then all the way down to Newell Hurlings in Centralia.
Oh, okay, so kind of the south end of the I-5 corridor, I guess you could say.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've had the fortunate privilege of being at most, not all, but most of your funeral homes, and just a great group of people in all of them. I've really been impressed with the different teams at all the different locations with you.
Thank you, Rob. We are blessed to have a good team, and I could not do it all myself, so we are blessed with our managers and our staff members.
Now, Russ, I want to point out too that you are actually a 2-term past president of the Washington State Funeral Directors Association.
That's correct. It was many years ago. When I look at the plaque on the wall, I think it's 96 to 98. So that was some time ago. But I appreciate the association and the things that we can't do on our own that we can only do through an association, and that's why I'm a member.
Yeah, and you've been a member for a long time. I don't want to embarrass you or nothing, but we're setting up pictures on a wall down in Colfax of all the past presidents, and I was helping put those up the other day, and I pulled out of the box a picture of Russ Weeks from years back, and some changes, not a lot, but you still look pretty much the same there as you did.
Yeah, I had a little more hair. When I look back at the pictures, I see our daughter was 1 or 2, and she was standing on my hand at different dances and balls that we would have. And then now she's getting married in June. So there's some big differences.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a great step. Let's talk a little bit. I know you just did a podcast with the NFDA. Let's talk a little bit about that. I know the topic at that point was talking about some of the challenges of finding and retaining great employees. How do you see that happening? I know, like I said, you've got a great team, but how do you do that? How does that work for you?
Well, we are fortunate with the team we have, and we've really relied a lot on their recommendations because they get out, they get to know people in funeral service, and they've been able to recommend people to us. So when we do have an opening, we usually have kind of a bench in reserve that we can contact people and fill those spots. But that I think that's going to be our greatest challenge moving forward. And it was interesting. I just read on this morning's NFDA Memorial Business Journal came out, and it was talking about that was the greatest challenge facing funeral service. And we've simply got to attract good people and retain good people. And a large part of that is being realistic in pay and what it costs to live today, and make sure that our employees receive that.
Yeah, I know pay is definitely a big factor in retaining. Funeral service is notoriously low on pay for sure. And I do agree that or I guess I shouldn't say I agree. I would go out and say that we need to look at increasing how we take care of our families, number one, but how do we take care of our employees? One of the greatest ways we can do that is to bump their pay up and get it a little more commensurate with what they're doing, what they put themselves through, the sacrifices that they make. I think that's where we're going to be in the future. We need to look at doing that.
Yeah, I think that's certainly a very important aspect of it. I think every one of us would say that those hugs we get from families and the thanks we get from families are hugely impactful and beneficial, and that's a big reason why we stay in it. But overall, our team members deserve to be paid, and should be paid well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Russ, excuse me, we're getting pretty low on time. I do want to thank you for coming on, but tell us, I'd like to let people know how to get in touch with you. What's a good email to reach you at?
The best email for me is russ@weeksfuneralhomes.com. Make sure there's an S on the end for plural. If it's not, you'll reach some very nice people in Kansas, but they are nice, but they're not me.
Well, so now I got to go do it just to talk to them.
Yeah. So send it to me, and I'm happy to respond. I love to talk about funeral service and business and all sorts of things. Love being a resource, whether it's for families or for funeral directors. I just love talking about it and helping out any way we can.
Well, Russ, I want to just go on the record and say thank you to you and to your family. I don't know your brother, I know your wife, but so I want to thank all of you. But you guys have really put forth the effort to support the association. Obviously, our current president is Lisa, and she's with you over on Vashon. We've got some other folks that are looking to come up on board with us, and they're with the Weeks family. And we're just so grateful that you've spent this many years supporting the WSFDA and watching it grow. And on behalf of all of us, I want to thank you for being a member of the association.
Well, thank you. We wouldn't continue if we didn't get benefit out of it. So continue doing what you're doing, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. Well, thanks again, Russ. We'll say goodbye at this point, but for everybody out there, again, as always, if you want to take part in 5-Minute Member Talk, we'd love to have you on board. Give me a call, send me an email, like, subscribe, follow, all those different things you do with social media. Share them with your friends and get the word out there. So on behalf of all of us here at WSFDA, Russ Weeks and the Weeks family, thank you, everybody, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.